Hey y'all, it's Kelly with Dixie Darlins, and today I've got a really fun but super special tutorial for y'all. Well, it's special to me, so I'm going to try to get through it without tearing up or crying. It's kind of made me emotional just even thinking about recording the tutorial. So some of you may or may not have heard, but Southern Belle Glitter came out with a Dixie Darlins transfers line. So these are the rub-on transfers that you've seen a lot of people using, and they're actually on if you're watching this as it comes out, this YouTube, then they're actually on a waiting list, but they are coming soon, y'all. Make sure you go on there, click on the link, even though it says sold out, and it gives you an option to join the waiting list. And that's kind of how you're going to get them right now. I'm so excited about these transfers. And y'all, I could never have imagined all the blessings that would come to me through the Tumbler community. And I feel like I get so much feedback that I'm a blessing to y'all, but you just do not even know what a blessing. I'm the one that's blessed every day. I mean, it's selfish a lot of times, I think, because I think I'm doing this because y'all bless me so much. And I could not have imagined having a Dixie Darlins line of transfers. It completely overwhelms me. I hope that y'all know I never take anything for granted. I never take all the love and support and encouragement y'all give me for granted. And so when Cindy came to me and asked me, sorry y'all, I knew I'd get emotional, but sometimes y'all just know by now that's who I am. I can't help it. So when Cindy came to me and asked me if I would want to do a line of transfers after she saw how excited I was over these and the foils, I said, absolutely. So she and I kind of worked together, and y'all, she did all the work. She created 3 sheets of transfers that are so representative of me. I could not have asked for anybody to do anything that would have represented Dixie Darlins anymore. So if y'all have not seen them, I've got them posted everywhere I can post them because I'm so excited about them. And they are on the website, so you can check them out there at southernbelleglitter.com. But there's actually going to be 3 sheets included. The first sheet, I knew I wanted to have red. That's my color, y'all. I love red. And so we created this one sheet that is like red roses. And then also, of course, when I was doing these, if you've been around me very much, I can be a little extra sometimes. So I said, Cindy, if we're going to do these, can we do these different than anything that's been done before? Like, what would be something that was different? And not from the fact that I wanted it, but like I wanted to be able to bring a product to y'all that's different. That's not just the same thing that you guys could get anywhere. That was fun and exciting and just a little bit different with a little added touch. So she said, well, I've seen them done with like a metallic, and I have a little sample here if you'd want to try it. Yes, absolutely. That would be the perfect Dixie Darlins touch. So when I tried it out, I was like, yes, ma'am. Is there any way that we can add these metallic accents in there? So Cindy made it happen, y'all. So the red page has these beautiful gold metallic flowers in there as well that you can layer some gold accents on the flowers. Beautiful, y'all. It's like a red and leopard mix of brush strokes and stuff. I'm so obsessed with those. And then the second page is the camo and different colors with the gold metallic accents as well. And so for a lot of y'all that think I'm girly, you probably don't know that I'm a long-time hunter, avid thing of all things outdoors, totally obsessed with it. So when you add camo with a little leopard print, now we're really talking my language. So that's what the second sheet's going to be. And then the third sheet is a mix of all things kind of southern. So you've got a Highland cow, and you've got some rustic hearts with some leopard, and you've got your hey y'all saying. And then I also took a lot of the sayings from the Letter by Stephanie SVG Club. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a monthly SVG club that I've been in. I totally adore Stephanie. She creates these beautiful hand-lettered files, and so I wanted to use as many of those as I could on my transfers as well, so you guys could see what a beautiful job she does. And they're just beautiful in themselves, and a lot of them are so representative of me as a person. She does a lot about gratitude and being kind, and kind of like how I try to be and what my life's motto is. Stephanie represents that so well in all the files that she does. So I took a lot of those and used them on the files as well. So you actually will get 3 big sheets. We tried to pack as much as we could into these sheets, y'all, so there would be something for everybody, and you could have as many as you needed and just make lots of cups with them. So I cannot wait for them to finally arrive, and so I can kind of see what your creations are going to be. So please, when these come out with you, if y'all will share them with me, join my Dixie Darlins Tumblers Facebook group. That's where I interact with you guys. That's where I get to see your creations. We talk about tumblers, but we talk about a little bit everything girl related. So, and there's some guys in there because they always get get upset when I don't include the guys, but mainly we talk about girl things. And, you know, it's just my time to interact with you. It's my time to hear what it is helpful for y'all. What tutorials do y'all want to see? I'm as active in there as I can be, y'all. I try to stay in there all day, every day, answering questions and posting things and sharing things with y'all. And if something's on sale, or I'm very blessed that a lot of companies have made and continue to make some amazing donations where I can do giveaways for y'all. So there's a lot of fun that's going on in the Dixie Darlins Tumblers Facebook group. So I encourage you to join me over there. And then I will link all the products that I'm going to use in the description box below. So make sure you check out those links, as well as some discount codes for y'all. Don't forget your links so you can save your 10% on your orders. And then if you like my tutorials, y'all, if you'll hit the subscribe and the bell button so you won't miss my future tutorials, I really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Today I'm starting with a 20-ounce skinny straight, y'all, that I've spray painted black, and I'm taking Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin here, and I'm just showing you I'm mixing part A and part B, and I'm only doing about 5 milliliters of each. This was really too much anyway. I had another cup that I was going to put on afterwards that is a very thin coat that I was going to glitter. So I ended up mixing up like 5 of each. But if you could do 2.5 of each, do 2.5 of each of part A and part B. And so I've just mixed that up pretty slowly, and I'm going to apply a thin coat to my tumbler. So you can see I've got a 20-ounce skinny straight here that I've just from Craft Haven that I've just spray painted with Rust-Oleum's 2X matte black. And then I'm going to spread my epoxy out, a very thin coat. It does not take very much to do the epoxy method if you guys aren't familiar with it. You don't usually go through this step very detailed. So this time I thought, let me kind of go through this step a little bit more in detail. For anybody that just is not familiar with this method, maybe you use different ways, or maybe you just never glittered a tumbler. So I'm just spreading it out, and you can see I'm just pulling it. If you don't use a very thin coat here, it has a tendency to streak, and that's not what I want. And I'm not using too much of a chunky glitter here, so I'm just kind of pulling it and just making sure that basically the cup is covered, not that there's any standing. So I'm going to start with this Kodak from Southern Belle glitter. It is this beautiful black and gold mix, y'all. So I'm actually going to use 2 different colors here just because I don't like putting chunky on the bottom, but the majority of the cup I want to cover with this Kodak, and it is so pretty. It's black and gold, and it has a holographic in it. So at the end, you guys will see when I show the video of like once you get it under epoxy, it is so gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous before, but I had this in my closet, and I was totally sleeping on this color. And it is from Southern Belle Glitter. And I will link all the products, y'all, that I use in the description box below, just as a side note. And I've got some discount codes included for you guys as well there, too. So I'm pretty much going to cover the majority of the cup. You can kind of see I'm going at an angle here just to leave a little open space. And I kind of thought that I swear I'd put my decal just over where there wasn't a chunky mix and there might not be any shards right there. So I'm going to go in with next a Peachy Olive Glitters Prestige, which is a similar black and gold, but it's a much finer cut. And I'm definitely going to cover the bottom with the finer cut. And you can just see here that I'm trying not to get any on the bottom of the cup just because that tends to be the hardest place to get smooth. And I'm just going to tap off the excess. And then I'm going to go in with this Prestige from Peachy Olive Glitter. It's a fine cut black and gold. And so I'm just going to kind of fill in this one little area where I thought maybe I'll lay the decal over that just because it'd probably be a smoother area. And it just kind of blends the two together. But I didn't want to just put this on the bottom. So I thought, let me give it a little twist on the side of this. And then it also will fill in any of the open areas for that chunk. And then you can see I'm just pouring it on the bottom because I really want this to cover the bottom the most, so I don't have that chunky anywhere on there. So I just thought it was kind of a nice contrast, and I went back over, just kind of sprinkled a little over here, you can see, just to fill in any little holes. And then I am going to tap off the excess of this, and you'll see I'm going to take some parchment paper and I'm going to press the glitter down. I've just found, like, even though this wasn't a super chunky one, I wanted to go ahead and take parchment paper because I wanted to get into pretty quick laying some of the rub-on transfers over it. So I'm just taking a sheet of parchment paper and I just kind of wrap it around the cup, y'all, just like you're going to almost, wrap it in vinyl. Just wrap it around there, press it down as hard as you can here just to get all that glitter perfectly smooth. And then I'm just going to kind of tap the bottom once I've got the sides flat. I just kind of tap the bottom just to make sure, and you can see how nice this glitter now is just laying flat against the cup. And then I just usually kind of take my finger and kind of tap around the top rim of the cup just to make sure that there's no little shards sticking out, that it just kind of dump them back down on the cup, if that makes sense. So after I do this, I'm actually going to apply 2 coats of medium viscosity artist resin. I did not record that, but after I let that epoxy coat dry, I did let it dry for about 8 hours, and I went into 2 coats of medium viscosity artist resin. And then I wanted to show y'all these little acrylic logo tags that I've been using. I did a little TikTok about it and have posted a couple of places, but I wanted to include it in this because this was the cup I did it on. And I'm actually going to use UV resin to apply these little acrylic logo tags. These are the mirrored version where I had Mizzy's Doodles, you do my decal on them, and they're actually on the back side. That's where they're engraved. So when you put epoxy over it, you can still see your decal, because I got a lot of questions about, well, can you still see it after you add epoxy? And just because the base of this cup is kind of like that black and gold mix, I'm just taking a little bit of this aged gold metallic paint from Miss Lillian's, and I just kind of put that over the back. If you guys can see, I've just kind of covered where my name would be, just because there was a lot going on in the background. Like, I knew once I put it on there, so you can kind of see it just gives it like a base on the back side, and that's why I painted that like that. And then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to use my UV resin to apply that to the bottom of the cup. And these Craft Haven cups have kind of like a little ring in the bottom that are inset a little bit, so it makes it the perfect place to actually add these little decals, the little logo tags in the bottom. So you can see I've just applied a little UV resin to the bottom of the cup, and then I use tweezers to press it, to like kind of lift it up and put it on there, just so it doesn't make quite as big of a mess. This seems to be a little small for my fingers, so the tweezers seem to work better. And then I'm just going to take my light and apply it just for, I think I did like 2 cycles of 60 seconds, just to make sure. It definitely didn't take that long, but I was just going to make sure it was good and dry on there. And you can just kind of see I've just kind of moved it around. And because these are kind of clear, it didn't really take that long, and the light gets to the UV resin really well. And then I'm going to go into another layer of epoxy, and I'll show you guys. And just because I'm going to add decals, so I know I'm going to have 2 or 3 more layers. So you can see here I've got it on the turner. I'm going to go back in with another coat now of Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin. I'm going to use about 20 milliliters, and I just do it like I would normally cover a cup, y'all. I basically just apply the epoxy to the cup, and then I kind of make special treatment just around the bottom just to make sure that it gets good and covered around where the logo is, but I don't really do anything special to them. And I just go into adding my, my transfers next. I'm going to add some foils next and a couple more layers, and then the cup will be perfectly smooth on the bottom once all those layers have been applied. And then I basically just wanted to show y'all what it looks like. You can see it just covers the epoxy. I didn't have any problems with it pooling or anything. It just covers it right up. So I was just going to kind of show you guys that. And then I let this coat dry for about 8 hours. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to apply my rub-on transfers. So these are the Dixie Darlins transfers from Southern Belle Glitter. I am so obsessed with these, y'all. Obviously, they are my line from Southern Belle Glitter, but I'm so in love with these. Cindy did such an amazing job pulling these all together. And I knew that I wanted to add some camo and then my decal over that. So I cut, and you can see these all come on one sheet, but only the transfer, like the stickiness is right up under that. So you can just cut these apart in a sheet. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I actually wasn't sure exactly which ones I was going to use on this cup when I started. Sometimes I just have to kind of cut them apart and play with them, and that's what I'm doing here. And then once I decide what I want on there, I'm going to go ahead, and you want to make sure that your cup is smooth, y'all, because these transfers, it will place a little, like how sometimes it gets a little knot up under there or something that wants to raise it, and you won't be able to sand after you get them on there. So literally you just pull them off the sheet, y'all, and place them on the cup where you want, and then they will come with this little brown burnishing tool that you guys see me probably use a lot. It's not even really necessary with these transfers. They come off so easily. But this way you just ensure that it breaks it right off of that transfer sheet, of that carrier sheet that you're putting it on there with, and you'll actually see it usually kind of separate from the top transfer piece where it's good and stuck to the cup. And I kind of just go around, especially on the edges, I just rub it really good to make sure that those are the edges that are on the cup, because that tends to be sometimes where it wants to pull off a little bit. So literally, you'll see you just rub it on with a stick, and then I kind of do it as I'm pulling it off just to make sure that that's not going to lift anywhere. And that's really how easy these rub-on transfers are, y'all. And the ones for the Dixie Darlins transfers will actually come with 3 different sheets, and they are available on Southern Belle Glitter. There is a waiting list. They are expected to be here very soon. So I will tell you, if you're wanting some, make sure you get on that waiting list. And then there will be stock available online. And of course, in the Facebook group, I'll let everybody know. I'll try to keep everybody posted as to when they actually are available online and not just the waiting list. And so literally that's how easy it is, y'all. The little rub-on transfers, you basically just rub them on, and you can see, because they have that background that allows them to be placed over any color, they still show up really well. So they don't just have to be like a water slide placed on a white background. You can really place these on any background and they'll show up really nice. And then you'll see me trim around the excess here. You really don't have to. It's more for me for just the spacing. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this one right on top of the other one. As long as you know that that's what you want on top of it, I would say. But if you put the one on there that you don't want and you decide you don't want it, you're going to have to pull both of them off and scrape both of them off. So if you're not really sure, you might want to do a layer of epoxy. And somehow, y'all, I got to this point, and I don't know if my battery died or what, but I did not get applying this on there. But I promise y'all, I just rubbed it right on top of the other one, just like I did that one. And then I did go in. Actually, I did not go in and do a layer of epoxy next. I went right in to lay some foils before I went into a layer of epoxy. So I am using Southern Belle Glitter's adhesive, foil adhesive that she has, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of it. I did like the transfers, but I wanted to add some foils, but I kind of wanted to work them into the design. So you guys have seen me do these foils before. I'm basically going to just take my brush, and I'm just going to kind of randomly make brush strokes here, and then I'm actually going to go with Hello Dolly, and I'm going to just apply that, and I'm going to do it in a very random pattern. I wanted it to be distressed. I didn't want it to look perfect. So you can kind of see I'm just taking my paintbrush with the adhesive, and I'm just kind of going up and down and up and down in just a random pattern. And then I'm taking my heat gun to dry it. You definitely don't have to do this. You can just let it dry by itself. I'm a little impatient, so I wanted to go ahead and speed up the process a little bit. Then I'm just going to lay my foils right up against there, and you can kind of see I'm just kind of doing it in a random pattern here. And I'm just going to keep working my way around the cup, and I'm just going to be quiet and let you guys watch. And I'm just going to kind of work it around until I get right back into the design on both sides, and then I'm going to go into a layer of epoxy. And then I don't take any drying time, y'all. I'm going to go right into a layer of epoxy after I get my foils applied. You can kind of see how I just kind of worked them around the decal here. And I do go into 20 milliliters of Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin. You can see it's going right over the decal here. And this is kind of how our final design is going to turn out. I did end up adding one more coat of Counterculture's medium viscosity after I let the first coat here dry about 6 hours. And then we're going to have our final design. And I love this cup, y'all. I love the Kodak, the glitter color. I love how the logo tag ended up looking on the bottom of it, and the camo and the Hello Dolly foils from Southern Belle Glitter and the Dixie Darlins transfers. I'm so excited about this cup, y'all. Somebody ended up snagging it, and it was very hard for me to let it go. I was super emotional about it. But anyway, so I hope that you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it was helpful. I hope that you guys love these transfers as much as I do, and I cannot wait to see what y'all create with them. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I will link all the products that I use in the description box below. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please subscribe and hit the bell button at the bottom. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all again soon.